Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Edition of Money Radio. This is the techie segment of Money Radio, today being Wednesday, and we are discussing an interesting topic today. How feasible is Nigeria's quest for technology I'm talking about technology transfer. How feasible is Nigeria's quest for technology transfer from China to boost the local economy? You will agree with me that, and as you've been following the news, you will agree that Nigeria has been making some moves. Yes, even there was a meeting on Monday with the members of the Chinese Communist Party in Abuja here to discuss issues like that, how to transfer technology or to transplant technology from China to Nigeria to boost the industrial sector, electricity and other sectors that will affect industry. And those are the issues that we are talking about today. Now, we want to talk about how possible is that, the encumbrances, the opportunities, and all of that. To me, in the studio to discuss the issue is the regular face, Aniel Jafaru. Aniel, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm your host, Keith Hammond. So, Aniel, first of all, is this just another talk shop? Because we have seen partnerships, the Nigerian government forging partnerships in the past that did not go anywhere or are still giving less attention than necessary. I'll give you an example. The Siemens deal last year, we were supposed to be seeing results now, and we are hardly hearing about it. So this issue that Nigeria, this partnership that Nigeria is forging with the Chinese government now, how feasible is that, or is it just another talk shop?
Well, we can't conclude that it's another talk shop until after a year or two, and we don't see the impact. Then we can draw our conclusions from that. Conclusions are drawn from generally data that come as a result of the partnership. So if we don't see results, it means that it's another talk shop. So, yeah. But notwithstanding, it's a good one that we are looking at that possibility. Looking at the fact that Chinese and China generally, they have been on the forefront in the area of technological innovations and growth. So the world is looking at China is one of the countries that the world is looking at for some good technologies in this dispensation. They have, and all this really didn't just come overnight. They have been planning it. In fact, recently they just announced meeting their first century goal, and they are kickstarting their second century goal. Yeah, the first century goal is to make the livelihood of Chinese to be better, and
which they have succeeded
in doing by putting a whole lot of funds in research, putting a whole lot of funds in innovation and all that. But what I've come to realize, or what I keep asking myself, is that what exactly is China doing that Nigeria can't do?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What exactly is it? The human capital? Is it what exactly are they doing? These guys, they drew up a plan to be among the top world countries at a certain time. The plan followed suit with execution.
Yes.
They started by saying, okay, we need to boost our human capital. They need to boost their educational sector. People don't move from Nigeria to China. You can't compare the rate of people move from Nigeria to China to the rate that move from Nigeria to other
English-speaking countries.
Yeah. But these guys, they need mind.
Yeah.
They built their educational sector well to the extent that they sent people from China to Western world to learn their technology. these persons came back after that,
Yes.
and they used those persons to grow their own educational sector.
That is what there's a new terminology that is evolving now. Previously we were talking about brain drain. Now they are talking about brain circulation, whereas people leave the home country, go abroad, get skills and knowledge from abroad, and then return to transfer that. And just like you are saying, the Chinese government in their development plans sent in, that is the same thing that happened to Japan. During this, after the Second World War, Japan was nowhere. They decided, look, we need knowledge, and they sent their bright minds to the US. And those guys came back, they circulated the knowledge. That was brain circulation. They came back and we started seeing Japan industrialized. Now, just the point you were making, China sent their bright minds to the US, to countries like the US, for technology. Many of the people who live, and Nigerians are among the brightest abroad that when it comes to education. And the Nigerians are among the most educated population. Yes, well, the most education, the most educated of any. I'm talking of percentage educated, percentage of Nigerians who have a BSc, the master's degree and PhD. At all that level, Nigeria has the highest number of educated persons or percentage of educated persons in the US compared even to the American citizens. So when it comes to that knowledge or the skills, Nigerians have it. So you are making a point there that China did the same thing. They sent their people, and the people came back and started developing the local economy. Why is Nigeria not doing that? Because the same quality of education that these Chinese people have, Nigerians in the US and
we have it more.
That's the point.
We have it. We have the capacity to learn and grow. Just imagine a local Nigerian that has not gone to school having the ability to uncouple and couple a car. That's if you go to Ladipo market.
Yes.
You go to Apo and see what exactly they are doing there. These are persons that are not learned, but these are the kind of things that they can do. Compared to when these persons now have a skilled, a formal education that brushes up that capacity, we can go beyond
far beyond.
But now the question is, even if Nigeria decides to send Nigerians to the Western world, how many Nigerians would want to come back?
That brings to the fore the issue of how well Nigeria is harnessing that asset. You see, the Chinese, the Japanese did not have much to go back to in their countries after getting the education they got in the West. It's the incentives that were provided for them that made
them good. Okay.
Now, so what are the incentives here?
That is the question. What exactly is Nigerian government telling us? Okay, if you come back, this is what we're going to do to you. If you come back, instead, what the incentive is if you send money,
you see,
you get $5 for every $1,000 you get. What kind of incentive is that for crying out loud? We are looking at it. We need to move from this stage. We have so much dwell in this particular state of this country. We have so much. Many persons are leaving the country. Most persons are leaving the country, and they don't have the intention of coming back. And the reason is because the government seems not to be working. What exactly is this government doing to ensure that they come back? If they come back, what are the incentives in place to ensure that they put in what they know into use? Go to countries, go to universities abroad in the US, in the UK, and the likes. You'll find out that Nigerians are deans, Nigerians are associate prof, Nigerians are lecturers in these universities.
Yes.
Now, what exactly can we say to these persons to make them come back? The reason we're doing all this is, the reason why all this won't work is because we don't have a plan. The Chinese government, they had a plan. They sent people abroad, go and come back. We are sending you, there is a plan that even though if I'm not the one that is there is somebody that must
that will continue with this plan.
Yes, so go and come back. and people go, knowing fully well that when they come back, the plan is still in existence. If Nigerian government can convince Nigerians that there is a plan and the plan is a continuous plan and is a plan that can be implemented, then it means that most Nigerians will be willing to come back.
Yes, that means they will allow themselves to be swallowed up in that plan, and they will just move along with it.
I tell you, Nigerians want to come back. Nigerians want to come back, but we need to make the environment enabling for them.
Yeah. I have spoken to a number of Nigerians and other Africans in the US. They don't necessarily like the US
at all.
Look, take for example, in the medical field, medical practitioners leave Nigeria, go abroad. Many of those people, and several journalists have interviewed them. Why do you go? It's not necessarily because of the money, the equipment to work with. These guys feel bad when they know how to save a patient and they can't save that patient because either there are no medicines to do that or the equipment to operate that patient is not available. And then you see those people die. It's demoralizing. It's demoralizing when you see that kind of thing. So it's like Nigerians who go abroad and decide not to come back feel they have grown bigger than this system. The system is actually limiting them. Yes.
The system is obsolete. Yes. So the system can't cater for what the kind of knowledge that they have. But even let's go beyond. Let's say, okay, we've been able to design a plan, working with the assumption that we've been able to design a plan, and Nigerians have decided to come back. There is something else that the Chinese government did. They invested heavily in research and development, to the extent that their research that was $2.something billion as of 1991, as of 2000, as of last year, their research fund was around 300 billion. So, research, as a result of that, the cascading effect to that increase in research fund made Chinese to improve and have a robust patenting system. What patenting system do we have in this country? As a result of a robust patenting system, China that has zero patent filing moved from zero patent filing to 68,000 patent filing. All this happened because they grew the educational sector, they shared the knowledge. Now the knowledge has been shared, and those that have acquired this knowledge are now using knowledge for scientific research. The research has proven to be effective, and the research has been filed under a patenting system that works. Now the Chinese government are benefiting from that.
That means what is working for them, they may not have, of course, China is not a democracy.
No, they are a communist.
Yes, you will say they don't have strong democratic institutions. In fact, they don't have democratic, but their institutions are strong.
They are strong.
Yes.
So like Chinese run a one-party system. That's the communist party. So it's either you are for us or against us. But the ideology of that one-party system means that first the country.
Yes.
So that brings us now to it is after the now talk about the political will. Because when without the political will, surely you can't no government will be willing to put in money in research. Because research, I will always say, research is not something you invest and see and you see as it is going. No.
Yeah.
You invest and hope. Yet, and Nigerians generally don't like that hope. We like doing things, we like something quick. So
the government can evolve that culture. The government can evolve that culture. Invest in research and wait for the outcome.
It is a government that have the will.
Yeah.
Because now I told us some time ago that what made Germany to be one-time world power was because they invested in research. What made US to be world power because they invested in research? What made China now getting to the stage where they'll be world power is because they invested in research. So if we want to be world power, we can't let go of research. We have to invest in it.
There is so much to talk about this issue. Daniel, let's go. Let's take a short break. Let's take a breather. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. So, please stay with us, listeners. We are taking a short break.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still on the Money Radio and we're discussing how feasible is Nigeria's quest for technology transfer from China to boost the local economy. And in the studio with me is Ania Jafar and your host, Case Hammond. Mr. Jafar,
Yeah.
we're talking about the feasibility. You took us to another level. Yes, and it's a pertinent issue you raised that Nigeria really does not need this technology transfer. Or what do those people have that Nigeria does not have in terms of technology? When it comes to maybe the technology may not be available locally, but Nigerians out there have the technology, they have the knowledge, they have the skills to build what Nigeria is seeking out there in China. And the Chinese have this, I wouldn't say notoriety, I wouldn't say that, but it's a kind of a way of doing their things. Take, for example, you see there are many Chinese companies, construction companies around Nigeria. But when it comes to the technology aspect of, or the skills aspect of building or constructing this infrastructure, you see mainly Chinese that are on the ground. You only have local laborers, local laborers as that is it. Many people look at that and develop this thought that these people are trying to hide something. I can even assure you there was this African country where a Chinese company built a stadium. They worked at night. During the day, they were sleeping. When all the laborers were out sleeping, they were working. And in that African country, there was no skills transfer at all. Though we see the same thing here. When you see Chinese companies, they do their sketches on the paper. go and dig that place. That's what they do to the local.
Instruct.
So when it comes to technology transfer, do you have faith in these people?
No. That's being blunt. I personally, I don't. It's a personal opinion. I don't have faith in them being able to transfer their technology to anybody, because that's what kept them. That's what took them to where they are, and they would not want to relinquish that. Whatsoever the technology is, for them to come down. They want to stay there as long as they can. So
in a way, they want to keep you dependent on them.
They will keep you dependent when you are when you decide to use their technology. They will keep you with them, and you will be with them. You will not have a choice. That's the state. That's why if you find most of their contracts, they're usually very their contracts are usually very strict. Their contracts are usually very myopic, if you want to look at it in a way. And the whole reason of this is they hide their technology, even though they know that the technology is already patented and people are supposed to use their technology, but they would want to hide as much as they can, and they would want to they would take the part they would want to implement the part of the technology that they don't want to share.
So besides that, let's look at this technology transfer. What technology are the Chinese going to transfer in the partnership Nigeria is seeking?
Yes, China is one of the countries in the world that depends on renewable energy compared to the US. That's most of their energies are not renewable. Depend on fossil for generation of energy. But China, they depend on renewable energy, heavily on renewable energy. In fact, they can be considered to be the country among the countries that have clean energy in the world. Yeah, that's a major technological innovation. Now I'm talking about 5G. 5G started from China.
Yeah, that's right.
5G was designed and launched first by Huawei, that is a Chinese company, but there was strong allegation against them as regards the use of 5G to spy on citizens, which I would not rule out that possibility. I won't rule out that possibility that Chinese wants to do that, but I also not rule out the possibility that is exactly what the US also wants to do.
Yeah.
So it's just which of the devil do you prefer?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but notwithstanding, Huawei launched 5G. There were a lot of accusation and allegation as to what 5G can do, the health implication and all that.
Some people were even alleging that 5G was spiked COVID-19.
There are just so many conspiracy theories. But if you want to look at this conspiracy theory, if you read clearly between the lines, you realize that it's a battle of power. It's not a battle of whether it's COVID-19 or it's the battle of power. Because when 5G was launched, as of 2018, when Huawei announced the launch of 5G, as then the US-based telecom equipment provider had nowhere to define the area of development of 5G, because as at then I was doing Tom asked the US-based telecom development providers, I was at a level of 5G development instead of launching by 2022. And leaving Huawei in the market alone would mean that they would have gotten 40% of the market by 2022.
Already.
As then, Huawei has already signed contracts with about 29 countries, including Nigeria. So it's all part of the strategy. So for me, I think I would say that it's all part of the strategy to slow down Chinese growth on 5G, the ban on Huawei, the blacklist of Huawei and other Chinese vendors in the US, telling off all the US companies not to do business with Chinese-based companies and all that. These are all part of the way to slow down the 5G innovations and other technological advancements that technological innovation that China has patents and people already using. So we have the renewable energy, we have the 5G, and they are growing. As I told you, there are about 68,000 patents. That's say that they are growing extensively. We can also look at there are high technological growth in the area of industrial equipment, because most industrial equipment, if you notice, they are mostly in China, and that's why they were able to grow as an industrial state.
Yeah.
Because of the dependence on industrial equipment, using industrial equipment to carry out, to make products available, enormous products available, and with the help of Alibaba that made that possible. Those are some of the innovations, and now they're already looking at exploring. They're already looking at exploring the back part of the moon as a research. So there are so many innovations that comes from China, and truth be told, they deserve it, because while others were sleeping, they were working.
They were working. Yes. You just said you have faith that this thing is going to go far, especially technology transfer, because when you look at areas where Nigeria has had opportunities for technology transfer, the government has not pushed forward. I'll give you an example. The motor industry.
Manufacturing.
Yes,
Manufacturing.
assembly. The idea was that people are these major car manufacturers will come and assemble here. They will have their assembly plants here, assemble here, and then with time, local manufacturers will get there will be knowledge transfer as a result of that, until the country will grow to be independent of the importation of cars. We see that it remains a policy, and even after this, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel came here, was it 2020? No, 2018 or 2019? She came here and tried to get clean with the Nigerian government. On that her very trip, she went to Ghana. The Ghanaians have, cleaned up their papers. They have tidied up everything. The thing has become a law, and they are producing. In fact, there are many assembly plants now that are in Ghana. Even some that are leaving Nigeria to Ghana because of the laws, because of enabling environment. But we see that these things here will stay on the tables of National Assembly. And
there are many factors to that. The major factor being political instability. So far, so good, even though we know that we've had stable democracy, we've never had a stable politics.
Yeah, but why must this auto policy remain a policy? Because people are not keen on bringing their investment into a country where there is only policy and not law. If it's a law, it doesn't matter whether one government is in or out of government to run that whatever to run that program. Yes, but if it's a policy, any government can come and reverse that policy.
We are always. It still boils down to the political instability that I'm talking about, because under political instability we have the role of the economists, we have the role of finance, we have the role of legislation, we have the role of enforcement. Almost everybody has a role to play under that political instability. That's why I started by clarifying the fact that we have a democratic system, but our political sector has not been stable. We have had a stable democracy, but we've not had a stable political system, because most persons don't have a structure. Most persons don't know where their role starts. Most persons don't know where their role ends. Yes, so we don't know. We create policies. The policy does not. They are good on paper, but implementation is terrible, because we don't know who's implementing, we don't know who's enforcing, we don't know who's judging. There are just so many persons that are nonchalant as regards this policy, because the policy itself is not detailed enough to give us that level of that comprehensive nature that everybody puts all hands on deck to ensure that the policy is implemented. Yeah, so just putting on policies on paper without proper implementation or strategy of implementation will still take us back to the stage where we have to redesign the policy. Like, for example, we did this, there was a cybersecurity policy 2014. That policy was supposed to be implemented. It was never implemented. 2009, 2021, I think. Yeah, this year. Another policy of the same cybersecurity strategy and policy came forth. A refined copy of cybersecurity strategy that was launched under the former office of the former NSA, what's it called, head.
Yeah.
You get so a refined policy is out now. They are already working on implementing. If nothing happens again, we will still have the possibility. There's still a possibility of us getting another refined copy again coming out sometime in future. So it all boils down to how effective is our implementation. We are terrible in the area of implementation.
So, lastly, just in 30 seconds, how do you see the move panning out? The move I'm talking about, Nigeria partnering with China on technology transfer to boost the local economy. How do you see it panning out? Do you have positive thoughts? Are you positive things will pan out in the way it should go, or otherwise?
Well, I only hope, I would hope that it goes well. But as long as partnership is concerned, we've had different partnership with different organizations and different countries without hitting any results. So I would, instead of keeping my hope very high, I will try to ensure that it is low. If it happens, good. It's all for the benefit and the betterment of the country.
Neil, I have always thought that you are a tech person, but I'm beginning to have this hint now that you have a political blood in you. Yes, you don't want to be caught with words. So that's the much we can take today on Tech Wednesday Money Radio. Thanks for always being with us. Continue to be loyal to us. We always be loyal to you too by bringing you bumper packages, keeping you abreast of the information that you need to keep up with modern Nigeria, the evolving Nigeria, the developing Nigeria. Yes. I've been your host, Case Hammond. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks to you, our producers also. Please stay safe. COVID-19 is real. And stay blessed. Have a nice day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.